So, earlier this summer, something really special happened. I got a one-on-one private concert from the legendary Mike Marshall. I know, right? Mike is not only one of the leading mandolinists of our time, but he's done more for this unique instrument, the mandocello, than literally anyone has. And over the past few years, he's made it his goal to master J.S. Bach's cello music on this mandolin family equivalent, and he's gone on to record all 6 suites, making him the first mandocellist to professionally record these works in entirety. While teaching together at the Swannanoa Music Gathering earlier this summer, I got together with Mike for an insider preview of his work on the 6th and last suite, and this one might be the most challenging of the bunch. And even though the mandocello is tuned the same as a normal cello, there are some unique challenges with this instrument. The double steel strings and the lack of sustain make this an unwieldy beast to play, which begs the question, can you play J.S. Bach, the standard of music perfection, on the mandocello? Mike is determined to find out.
I just wanted to share some of those fingerings with my fellow mandolin players out there to show that maybe it is possible.
Oh my goodness. What were you doing up there?
Yeah, I know. It's written for an extra string, you know. So all that would have been easier on it if I had an E string.
So part of what makes this last suite so challenging is that Bach originally wrote this 300 years ago for the now less common 5-string cello, which means that Mike is having to do some acrobatic workarounds to make this work on a 4-course instrument, as evident by the imaginative fingerings that you can see Mike is using here.
But, so if you can imagine, all of this stuff would have been here in first position if you had an E string.
Yes.
And that's what he intended. But most cellists play it on the regular 4.
In addition to being the premier mandocellist, Mike is also the owner of perhaps the most iconic mandocello in the world. This amazing instrument built by legendary luthier John Monteleone.
Can you tell me about this? The premier mandocello.
This is a very, very nice instrument. It's a Monteleone mandocello, built in I think 1984. I asked him to build it for me. It was the first one. It's serial number 57, which is my birth year. It seems appropriate somehow. So it's pretty early on in his building life. He's built, I think, over 300 instruments at this point. It's just an amazing instrument. It just sounds so good. And I've gotten so used to it over the years. And I'll tell you, playing these Bach suites really taught me how to play the instrument, because it's all about fingerings, and it's so different than a mandolin. You have to shift more often, I've finally discovered. This is the Corante.
As I was listening to Mike back then, I felt like I had to pinch myself on a number of occasions, getting this one-on-one performance from one of my mandolin heroes. But it also felt like I was witnessing something groundbreaking for the instrument. This had not been done at this level on the mandocello before. So I asked Mike what it was like to be blazing a new path for future mandocellists to come.
I think sometimes about somebody like Edgar Meyer, who, before Edgar, people thought a lot of what he did on the bass was impossible, And then he did it, and then a lot of young guys now come along and can do it because there it is. I think he showed the way to a next generation of players. So I'm excited that you know, that this music is playable on this instrument. For years I thought it wasn't, just looking at, it's so daunting, some of the issues. And then if you just kind of carve away at it bit by bit, you find solutions. It's an accomplishment for sure for me to just to have been able to get through this, especially getting up in the years, thinking about the hands and whether or not they'll last. And I thought, well, at the beginning of COVID, I thought, let me see if I can manage this. So I started in and basically spent about a year on each suite. And a lot of it has to do with posture, just getting your leg up and bringing thumb around so that you can make some of the reaches. I mean, there's times when my thumb's all the way down here, as you can see. They're reachable, there's a weird chord here. It's like an A chord with a G in the bass. So, had to get the thumb way over under there to get that. There's a good one.
Another big challenge for this suite are those huge finger stretches that Mike is having to make to accommodate for the 3 and even 4-note chord voicings that Bach wrote. And with the benefit of having frets, this is actually one area where the mandocello excels. It makes you wonder if Bach was initially composing with an instrument like this in mind. Maybe.
This, like these chords, I don't know how you do that on, doing that on the cello. I mean, here we have frets, it's really, I think it's pretty nice on the mandocello.
Would you say better?
I don't want to say. Like this. Of course, you would have a high string, so those notes would be somewhere about there, and this note would be there. But then look at here. Well, again, that would be up the neck. I mean, first position on it if you had an high string, and that would be your open G above it. But most cellists try to do this. And then here. One of the things I'm trying to be super conscious of is how stuff should ring together. You want to keep some notes because of the harmony. You want things to ring over. I think about the organ. All those harmonics are like a way to pretend you're playing an instrument that has sustain on every note if you want it,
Mm.
It's like he's asking for 2 voices here. You get the top note is the melody, and this is like an answer. Maybe one of the most beautiful moves in all of music. Major 7? Are you kidding?
I was gonna say, I heard that. I was like,
kidding?
what? It's like jazz?
Are you kidding. That's just too beautiful.
That's amazing.
Is that jazz? Is that Debussy? Is that, that's the thing. Bach is the center of the hourglass. Everything, he coalesced everything that came before him, and he is the reason for everything after him.
After literal years of working on this music, I was curious as to what Mike might be cooking up next for his Mandocello friends.
What are you gonna do after the 6th cello suite? That's the last one, right?
I guess I'll have to write 6 of my own.
Onward and upwards, right? That's what I love most about Mike. And if you want to hear more of his amazing work on these cello suites, definitely check out his Bandcamp page down at the link below. There's recordings for all 6 suites now, and it's a great way to support Mike and his work. And just a huge thanks to Mike for this incredible experience. If you want to hear more nuggets of wisdom from Mike and his amazing partner, Katerina Lichtenberg, then check out this video here on screen from my time teaching with them at the Mandolin World Retreat. I hope to see you over there, and in the meantime, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and happy picking.